Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Downbeat podcast. Season 2, I guess you could call it season 2. Technically season 3, if you count the ones that I did beforehand, which were not video, then the video. Now we're in Nashville, Tennessee. It's taken 3 months to get sorted. As you will see, if you are seeing, or as you will hear, if you are hearing, but now the video is also on Spotify. I'm in a brand new studio. It's awesome. It's taken a while. It's been a labor of love, but we got it. We got it. We are ready to go. This is the first of many new podcasts. We are back. If you're interested in the studio build, the podcast build, my whole move here, there is a vlog which will either already be out or just about to come out. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. That's Tube. That's YouTube. I will not be saying tube. Even though I live in America, I will not be saying yogurt. I will be saying yogurt. Without further ado, my guest on the Downbeat podcast this week is Josh James of Stick to Your Guns. He plays guitar in Stick to Your Guns. He also plays guitar in 18 Visions. He used to be in Casey Jones. He used to be in Evergreen Terrace. He is a veteran psychopath of the hardcore metalcore world. He's got some crazy stories. We did a live podcast back at Christmas. We did the LA one, was with Josh James. It went so well that I had to have him back. We talk about an injury he had that nearly left him paralyzed. We talk about some crazy stories. His Two Truths and a Lie are psychotic. Stick to Your Guns' new album, Keep Planting Flowers, is out now, so make sure you check that out. Before we get started, I want to let you know we have a Patreon, patreon.com/The Downbeat. It's the only thing that has kept me going in these 3 months where I haven't been able to work. I haven't been able to do anything at all, and the Patreon has kept it ticking over. The Patreon has paid for all of this. Your support means absolutely everything. Patreon.com/The Downbeat. We also have new merch, www.thedownbeat.at, so it spells Downbeat. Go and check it out. Loads of new stuff. This one's America themed if you're watching this. Sort of skull and eagle and stuff. I cut the sleeves off, guys. These sleeves were cut myself. Just buy the t-shirt and cut the sleeves off. www.thedownbeat.at, so it spells Downbeat. As ever, this episode is brought to you by the lovely people at Display, who again have helped me integral in making this studio and my new apartment look awesome as frig. Display make metal posters. They mount on the wall with a magnet. There's no drilling. There's no mess. There's no pulling off your wall. There's no getting in trouble with your landlord. Type in whatever rubbish little hobby you have into display.com, and I guarantee you they are going to have a metal poster in a variety of sizes just for you. We also have a Downbeat store with all the designs that you can see on the podcast. Listeners of the Downbeat podcast can get a whopping 22% off 1 to 2 displays or 33% off 3 or more by going to display.com/The Downbeat and use the code Downbeat. That works across the whole store. You don't even have to get my ones. Display.com/The Downbeat. Check it out. Without further ado, it's Josh James of Stick to Your Guns on the Downbeat podcast. Hello.
We're starting.
We're starting again right now. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Did you get caught in any kind of storm?
No, not at all. I actually think you guys were lying about this whole tornado thing.
There was a big
I think it was CGI.
tornado thing last night. I don't know what it is. Someone explained to me, tornado watch
Yep.
is we have all the ingredients to make tacos.
Yeah, and you're just looking.
And tornado warning is we're having tacos right now. But like last night, there was loads of tornado warnings. You just said we've got special new producer guest, Madison. Not even a guest, because we're trying. I need someone to look at the cameras and look after me. And
She's a permanent resident.
she had a story. She is. She had a story. You asked her how she's enjoying Nashville, and she was about to mention last night.
Yeah,
so let's go.
What happened last night, Madison?
You asked if I was enjoying Nashville. I love Nashville. The weather's beautiful. There's amazing
tornadoes.
stuff. There is tornadoes, and so yeah, last night tornado warnings at 3 a.m. We were just curled up in our bathtub with our 3 cats.
Is that typical of you guys? Is that like a normal hangout spot, the bathtub?
Kind of, but not at 3 a.m. fully clothed.
Okay.
Yeah, not fully clothed. So yeah, it was just kind of intense, I will say. It was terrifying. That's the bottom line.
That's the fun part of the South.
The tornadoes?
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I grew up mostly in Florida, so I had hurricanes.
You know
I had
hurricanes.
hurricane season. But every part of the country has their own little fucked up natural disaster that every other part of the country thinks is fucking bananas. Like when I was a kid, there was a made for TV movie about the one of the big earthquakes that happened in California. And I remember being like, wait a minute, you're telling me that the earth can just open up and swallow you?
Can just quake?
And it's like, why would it's just going to quake all over the place. And I was like, why would you ever live there? And then it's funny because, like Jesse, someone who grew up in California, and he's like, you're telling me that every year there's a season of hurricanes and it just might rip your roof off and you don't have power for 5 days. I'm like, yeah, but that's normal.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, earthquakes are normal. But now that I've lived everywhere, it's all normal.
It's all normal. Because you live in LA now, so you've just had fires.
Yep.
Is that
that wasn't very normal. The magnitude of those fires weren't very normal.
So you got earthquakes and fires.
Yeah.
And we have tornadoes.
Yeah.
Florida's got hurricanes. All of this is like, I'm from the UK. So it's just like, I'm sorry, what? The weather's doing what?
Yeah. I think you're just excited that there's this weather other than just gray.
There's multifaceted reply to that, right? One, I was kind of excited last night. Like she was freaking out and I was just like, it's kind of sick. Like the sirens and shit.
Dude, when I was a kid, you would have like, school would get canceled because of hurricanes. And so you'd have like little hurricane parties.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
The hurricanes were the good
guys. But it did suck like whenever you lose power for like 5 days. And like, I'm so heat sensitive. I was just sweating my fucking ass off, just eating Little Debbie's. Like,
wait, what's a Debbie? What's Little Debbie?
Little Debbie, like Little Debbie snack cakes.
Everyone just looks shocked at me. I'm still learning, bro.
Zebra cakes, Nutty Buddy, Star Crunch.
I don't know what any of these are.
Yeah, we're going to go to the Jiffy after this.
Yeah, we need to get this sorted out. But then the other thing is like the weather thing that you said. I think I always thought I had depression, right? Now
you're just English.
I think it was just like seasonal depression, but there's one season.
No vitamin D.
I wake up and the bit where I put my MacBook and I do like whatever my work in the morning, like there's a window, and every morning I'm like, wait a minute, sun, like this.
It's kind of nice.
It's actually fucking crazy, and then I'm in a really good mood.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think I was just like,
yeah, all you had to do is move to Nashville.
But you only realise when you move out of out of the UK, just how bad the weather is.
Yeah.
Like, I'd take a couple of tornadoes for mostly sun.
Yeah. This is going to be great.
Tragedy. Anyway, I think 6 people died last night. So I'm not saying I want 6 people to die so I can be a little bit happier.
I mean, you're kind of saying that, but I mean, that's fine. You
Didn't mean it, but said it, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, people got to die.
Yeah. Okay. Next. What? Did you get fucked up by the fires?
No, the fires was kind of crazy. So that the fires happened the week that our new record came out. So everyone had flown in and we were like preparing to do this thing that's kind of like audio tree for the noise, like a live performance thing. And then we had the record release show. And we had all this stuff lined up for that week. So everyone flew in and they're staying with me and we go to have rehearsal. And like, I don't know how it is for you guys, but like when we write a record, most of the time it's me and Chris in his basement. We write everything, send it off to everybody. Everybody adds their parts. And then we're at the studio. That's the first time that like anybody's actually really playing it. So it's like after the record's done, then that's the first time that we actually get together and play the songs
who
live.
Can't play those parts,
Exactly. Who's fired.
Yeah.
And so everybody came to Los Angeles and stayed at my house so we could figure out who we were going to fire. And we're rehearsing and my wife never calls me because she doesn't want to talk to me.
Wait, and unpack that slightly. Why didn't she call you?
No, my wife was calling me a lot.
Oh, okay.
Right? Which never happens.
Got it.
And I didn't see the missed calls because my phone's constantly face down. And so Adam, our drummer, is like, yo, Fern just called me. And I was like, what the fuck's going on between the two of you? And then he's like, no, she's trying to get a hold of you. And then I flip the phone over and I see I have like 10 missed calls from him. I'm like, oh, this is really weird. And I call her back and she's like, hey, you guys are in an evacuation zone. And we're like, what are you talking about? She's like, there's fires right now. And we were just in this windowless room and had no clue that the fires had even happened.
Shit, you hadn't been outside
and then so we go and open the door and it's just like like the sky's red. And then I was like, fuck, well, we only got 3 songs left to go over. So let's just go over those and let's pack it up.
Did you go over them?
Yeah, of course.
Fuck yeah.
And so we did that. And then I remember, we left and the Altadena fires, the Eaton fire, that was the one that was really close to my house. And so like the next morning, I remember I woke up to the smell of smoke and I saw like glowing underneath the curtains and I was like, oh fuck, it's here. And then I opened up the curtains and it was just the sun just trying to come through the smoke, but the whole house got filled with smoke. We're very grateful and lucky because we know a bunch of people who lost their homes and, a bunch of terrible things. But it was just like a weird time. It was really confusing. It was like weird grief, and I think also like seeing things that you didn't think you had a connection to burn to the ground, like small things, like even like when you're driving the PCH on the coast, there's those homes that are actually like on the ocean side.
Yeah.
And for years I've driven past those. I'm like, God, that'd be such a nightmare to live in that house, try to pull out in traffic and all this shit. And then all of a sudden they're gone. You're like, oh, weird. Like that added to
they're all gone.
A lot of those are gone. So it's like, oh, weird. Like all these things burnt down that you never realized that you had a connection to, but it adds to like the beauty and the magic to the place. Cause it's the only place in the world that I'm aware of that looks like that. Or, you know what I mean? So it was just weird.
Iconic, like stuff.
Yeah. So it was just odd. And, but the cool thing was seeing like people really just come together. It didn't matter your political background. Didn't matter your like, socioeconomics, like shit like that.
They tried to pin it. A lot of people tried to pin it on insane stuff.
I meant just seeing people like help out each other.
Oh, right. Okay,
you know what I mean? Like,
I saw some insane takes, like of just people being like, this person's to blame. It's like, it's a fire.
Yeah, it's a fire, man.
From the sun. Wait, is it from the sun? I'm an idiot.
From the winds. So it's science.
I watched 3 hours of like a meteorology YouTube last night because they tell you the warning goes off. Horrible warning, by the way. The phone alerts. The ones that are like...
We got one today actually driving here.
Oh.
There was going to be a flash flood.
Oh, sick. Mine doesn't go off. We found that out. So
that's good.
Mine just doesn't work. Then you go and sit in the bath because it's the only place we had. And then you just watch this channel where it just basically tells you like, there's going to be a tornado here. These people can... It's like some Nashville like... Almost like storm hunters, but they're hunting online. So it looks like they're playing like a World of Warcraft game. There's 4 of them at the bottom with their cameras.
We're going to highlight you in red if you need to get out of here.
That's what they do. But then they like tell you if you can go to sleep. They'll be like, okay, Davidson.
You can't go to sleep.
No, Davidson, you can go to sleep, blah, 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 and all this stuff.
It's like playing a game of werewolves.
It was so sick.
Town, go to sleep.
It was so sick. I was like low key, like obviously, again, it's always a tragedy, but as like, I still feel like, America in general, I just feel like I'm at a theme park, like everything.
Yeah, it's fun. This tour is like that because everybody except for us on the tour is from Europe.
Oh shit!
So everyone's like, "Wow, what is this?"
Cheeseburger.
Yeah, this is crazy. And we brought our sound guy from Germany here, and he's like losing his mind every day.
Wait, who is it? Someone I know.
Dude, Jay. He worked for like Agnostic Front, Terror.
Dresses like an absolute dresses like any of Nasty.
Yes,
I know the guy.
Yes, yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's so
great.
much fun.
He's great. We took him to get barbecue today, and he just like
Where'd you go? Cookout?
No, we went to what's the place in the parking lot of Eastside Bowl?
I don't fucking know.
It's called like fucking Shotgun Willie's or something.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's great. Good brisket.
Sick.
Yeah, great brisket.
Jot it down, babe. All right,
so we're getting some brisket.
Everyone's Euro. What's the tour? Come on, we might as well talk about music. Nice way to.
The tour is Nasty, Stick to Your Guns, Paleface.
I heard I'm supposed to be like finger on the pulse with music.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Paleface Swiss.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that fucking name.
Insane.
Insane name.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard him for the first time the other day on like a Spotify radio when it comes on.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is this band? This is sick as fuck. And then it was like Paleface Swiss. And I was like, looking at the logo, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this band. It was so sick.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to sound how they sound.
Just singing.
Yeah, there's that. And there's also just that feeling of like old Slipknot.
Yeah. I was fucking into it.
That.
Yeah, it
You
was
know?
like I was blown away. I was like, this.
Yeah,
might
they
be
crush it every night.
New favorite. I didn't realize they were that big as well.
I don't know what's
Even
going
with
on
that
in this
name.
world. Yeah.
No offense, guys, but it's up there. I mean, it's not. It's just I hate it whenever.
How do you feel about Kubla Khan TX?
Switzerland may be the least hard country on earth. Like historically, the most
A
neutral.
little bit of fence walking there.
Yeah, like the most neutral country on earth, and you're writing heavy music, whereas Texas is like I can imagine. Texas
that
being
makes sense.
violent music, but
That makes sense.
Switzerland, I would take Paleface Germany. Well, obviously,
Paleface EU.
historically Germany,
Germany's done some hard things.
they have done some really bad stuff. Yeah. Speaking of,
They've done some bad stuff.
They have done
Those
bad-
Germans have done some bad stuff.
they have done bad stuff. And speaking of that, do you remember the live podcast?
I do remember that.
Do you remember my whole bit about?
Yeah, so we did this live podcast, and Craig kicked it off by having the audience vote which of my features was it that made me look the most like a Nazi. At the time, I did have more of a Nazi haircut.
You had a full skin on.
I had the Hitler. I think I had Hitler youth hair or something.
No, you had a full skin on.
Yeah, probably.
You didn't have a. I mean, no, I don't know. I don't know why I did it either. Or you came in and I went, wow.
You know what my favorite part about that is like the crowd's obviously laughing, but they're also being like, yeah, it's his jawline. Yeah, it's the way that he really says things with conviction. Anyway, afterwards, this girl comes up to me, like unprovoked, and she goes, hey, I just want to say, I don't think you look like a Nazi. And I was like, oh, thank you. And she's like, it's just really unfair that people were saying that to you. And I was like, well, I mean, I kind of get it. But I was like, this is so wild that she was like, this man has been ridiculed on stage.
As if we don't know each other.
Yeah.
You said that like a Tim Robinson skit. You actually sounded actually like him there. And then we pulled up that German guy. Remember that? Speaking of Germany.
That was fucking crazy. If I would have been in the
perfect.
audience, I would have said that guy was a plant.
Yeah, it was perfect.
That was crazy.
Do you want to explain it or shall I explain it?
Craig, we're start talking shit about Germans and about how like there's this thing that
Go. Send it.
There's a term that band members use, which is called German honesty, which is about German people at shows come up to you and give you honesty, but it's really just like the worst fucking thing.
It's just it's their brutal opinion.
It's crazy. Like they'll be like, last time I saw you, you rocked my face off. This time sound like fucking shit. Why?
Do you remember the actual word that guy used there?
No.
You told me a story.
Oh, can I say that?
You can say it, but I'll bleep it. You can't say the word, actually. Don't say the word, but just say, people will get it. This is a perfect example.
Okay. This is a perfect example of German honesty. The very first time Stick to Your Guns ever went to Europe, I actually wasn't in the band, but I was on the tour. It was Stick to Your Guns, Evergreen, Terrace, Walls of Jericho tour.
Great tour.
Stick to Your Guns plays. A guy walks up to Jesse and says, I don't understand. On record, your voice is so brutal, but live, why do you sound like such a... And Jesse goes, I don't know why I sound like that. I don't know.
Imagine saying that to someone's face. Saying the word alone, bad, but saying that to someone's face.
That was crazy. After COVID, when I went back, I was like, you know what? No more German honesty. You give me German honesty, you're getting slapped now.
Fucking slapped.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
Before we get on to bringing the guy on stage, I've had, I think the worst I've heard was, I think I was next to, I can't remember who it was, next to the singer in our band that supported us at merch, just stood there. And I heard a German guy come up to him and say, you guys were really great tonight. And the guy was like, oh yeah, thank you. And he was like, I preferred the shoes you were wearing last time. How insane is that? I feel like maybe they teach it in school.
Jay, our sound guy, was saying now that if you give somebody the finger there,
Yeah.
that person can call the cops on you.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah,
Kinda sick,
so
though.
if somebody gives me German honesty, I'm just going to call the cops on them.
That works.
They told me last time my shoes were better.
Call the cops. What did we do? We pulled that. But anyway, so we did the Nazi bit, and
Classic.
then we get onto the German honesty, and then I just randomly said, "Is anyone here German?" And this one guy,
He's like, stood up like the Manchurian candidate. And was like, yep, that's me.
got him on stage,
And then he proceeds to tell us that
denies it.
he denies it while doing it.
It was fucking like Christopher Nolan couldn't have directed it. It was insane. He comes up like vehemently denying it, that it doesn't exist. And then I say, well, come on, just like give us something, like, you know, be honest about one of our bands. And Brendan was there and he was like, the German honesty thing isn't true. But I will say, I didn't like anything after Counterpart's second record or whatever. He said that to Brendan.
Yeah, he's like, everything you've written since this record is bad.
After saying the German honesty doesn't exist.
Yeah, he's like,
we're
that's not
nice
real.
people.
I was like, I've never heard of that. And then he turns to me and he was just like, and one time 9 years ago, someone in your band was rude to me. And I
forgot about that.
I stopped listening to your band from that moment because I brought in some drum cymbals. I brought in some drum stands into the backstage and someone said, don't bring those in here. And I was just like,
He literally said
crazy.
that, and then he was
Yeah.
like, and one of you said, don't bring them in there, so I haven't listened to your band ever since.
After the podcast, I went up to him and I said, hey, I actually do remember that. It was George, and that's why he's not in the band anymore. And he was like, oh, really?
So he thought it was him. I can't remember what he did for me as well. It was particularly cutting, though. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, do me then. And he said something like, this isn't going very well, is it? Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So your podcast, not very good.
Okay, thank you, bro.
You're dismissed.
That was good, though. Thanks for doing that. I wish I'd recorded it.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. But we would have all been canceled.
Really? I don't think I said anything that bad.
Tom Williams was front row stressing. I saw him.
He's in his old age with his 2 kids. He is like real scared of everyone else, like for them. Like it's just such a dad now.
Yeah, sure.
Like, you can't say that. You can say that.
Don't do it.
You can't say that. That's funny though. You got a kid? No, you haven't got a kid, have you?
No, I have no kid.
No kid.
I have a dog. What about you guys? Do people ask you if you're going to have kids? Isn't that kind of like a fucking crazy question?
I think
It's
it is.
insane.
You know, people are like, hey, you guys going to have kids? What?
And like any of the replies that aren't yes are like depressing or sad or like gonna cause more of a conversation afterwards. Like if you say no, like someone will go, oh, why not? It's like, well, actually I'm barren. Like, you know, where do you want that conversation to go?
I'm mentally unstable.
Yeah.
I'm actually just going to start saying, yeah, I have 6 kids.
I have 6 kids.
I don't take care of them.
Yeah. You got a dog.
I got a dog. I take care of them. His name's TJ, Tijuana.
Any cats? How do you feel about cats?
They're fine.
I turned so hard.
Catman? Because of you?
Cat man.
Yeah, you're a cat woman for sure. I can see it.
I like fully. I'm so on board with cats. I don't know what it is. I think it's they don't like me.
I want a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Type of pig.
A big one.
Like a big full pig. You got enough.
A big crazy pig.
What, so it can
Named
fucking
Pig.
be outside in the fire and make some bacon
Just in the house, living life.
inside.
Yeah, I want an indoor pig.
Thing is, this sounds like you're doing a bit, but if anyone's watching, it sounds like it's true.
I want an indoor pig. I'm going to get it one day.
You got enough space for an indoor pig?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You sleep with
Really
it.
got space for me.
Sleep in the bed with it.
Yeah.
No, I've become such a cat guy. I think it's because they treat me like shit. And then I'm just like...
You like that?
And then I'm just like... Sometimes I'll get like a bit of love back. Especially in particular, there's one of them called Jeet.
How many cats do you guys have?
3.
3 cats?
Bro, I bought him a toilet the other day. It cost $1,000.
You bought a cat toilet?
It cost $1,000.
Do they use it like the cat from Meet the Fockers?
It looks like a spaceship.
Meet the Parents?
Simon, I will send you this photo to put over the top. Let me show you. Let me get a glimpse of this cat toilet. It's incredible. They go in it, they shit, it checks their weight. So like to see how big the shit was or whatever. I don't know why it checks their weight. Why does it check their weight?
For like health reasons.
Oh, I thought it was
Track
like to
their weight.
see what their dump size was.
You've been ripped off.
Bro, it's
$1,000?
yeah, I've definitely been ripped off. But it like automatically spins it. There's no changing litter. There's no doing anything.
This cat is so pissed that you took a picture of it while I was taking a shit.
Ollie is enjoying that shit. And then it spins it, dumps the litter out the bottom, and it has like some odor control shit. But what happened, Josh, was I bought one that was We had one that was $300. So I've definitely been ripped off. We had one that was $300 and it broke. So then I was like, I'll just get one like slightly better quality. I'll get one that's $450. Right. And that broke. So I was like, let me just get the best one. And so far it's all right.
I'm so happy for you. It really seems like...
Wait, what's your real thoughts? Because you definitely got a real thought though.
You know what, man? I don't care. I'm glad that it brings you happiness. I'm glad that you're able to weigh your cat's shit. It's just like, I'm glad it doesn't smell.
Have you ever had a cat?
Yeah, I had a cat. I cannot say its name on air. And
no, it's not like H.P. Lovecraft style cat name, is it?
No, it's just a bad name. Anyway, I had this cat. And
that's such a bad cut. You're going to suddenly be laughing.
We had to cut something.
That's bad.
We had to cut something because I was going to get in trouble. Anyway, we had this cat, and I didn't know that cats go into heat. And so I'd be like watching TV, and it would come up and it would start like fucking my toe. It's like, I'm like, what is going on?
Putting the cat pussy on the toe.
With this cat. Yeah. Whole toe.
Whole toe. Yeah.
Whole toe. And then I would just sit there and
this is the bit that we haven't cut.
Gently fuck the cat.
How bad was the bit that we cut? If this is
it was bad.
Yeah, but
that's the only time my roommate had it. One of my roommates years ago had a cat. It's the only time I ever had a cat.
But they're like the litter, like cleaning the litter sucks, and the smell of the shit sucks.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And times that by 3, get a magic fucking toilet. It's amazing. And I think there's a part of me that's like a bit like don't have kids. You know, like a dad that gets their son a gadget and the dad's obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with this toilet.
Yeah.
I tried to get it for free.
Here's a question. If you had a kid, if you had a son, would you give him a pocket pussy? I had this discussion the other day with some people, and we were talking about that, and it could be argued that like maybe that could teach a young man a thing or two.
It teaches him to be fucking warped.
About a vagina.
Why did you have to? Did you get a lesson about a vagina?
No, I didn't at all.
Yeah, but you
took
did
me
right.
a minute.
You did all right.
Even like the girls wouldn't give me a lesson.
Yeah, but if you had the lesson, but now look at you. You got gorgeous partner.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Now I teach her a lesson.
So hypothetically, you got that pocket pussy lesson, and then you searched the rest of your life for some woman that matches this pocket pussy. Thoughts?
I will say though, Evergreen Terrace did get endorsed by Fleshlight. And so we got all these fleshlights.
How many?
A box.
Like a monster crate? Did they do the monster
it was literally...
Send me some monsters. Send me 12. Here's 148 flashlights.
It was like that.
Sick.
It was crazy.
Any good? Never used one.
Top notch. Honestly, I feel bad for the girl that I was dating at the time because I was like, I think I'm just more interested in this.
No way.
Like, this thing's crazy.
Really?
I gave it away.
You gave it away?
I gave them away.
You donated it to?
Yeah.
Who to?
To some
young boys.
To some young boys.
That's Stick Your Gun.
I just went and found some young boys.
Say, hey, boys.
Say, hey, kids.
You want to try this out?
Try this on for size.
That's pretty sick. No, I never used one. Anyway, to answer your question.
I don't know why I asked you that. Because we're talking about toilets and buying your children gadgets.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think I would do that because I think I did fine sexually, mentally without having that. I feel like it probably caused more problems.
Did anybody talk to you about sex? No. No one talked to me about anything. That's how I ended up trying to jerk off over a plate of spaghetti because I was confused as to...
Yeah, but there is how old are you?
I'm like 40.
Why was that you had to remember your age? Are you claiming 40, but you're actually 42?
No, I started this thing when I was like 36 where I started saying I was 40 to drive my wife crazy.
Nice.
And then I legitimately would lose track at how old I was because I'd been saying I was 40 for years.
Okay.
So now I just say I'm like 40. And then once I hit 45, I'll be like, yeah, I'm like 45.
So what are
I'm
you
only
actually?
going by 5
So what are you
now.
actually?
I don't know. I'm like 40.
I'm not even going to press you for this because I like it.
We're going to have to phone Fernan. She knows my birthday.
What?
And then do the math.
Okay. You were like me then. You had to have a mind wank. There was nothing to do.
Oh.
There was nothing to use.
100%.
Music channels, maybe, if you had cable.
Seeing a nipple?
Insane.
I'll never forget the first nipple that I saw. It was my next door neighbor's. Her name was Blair. And I remember
Such an American name.
We were all sitting around after the pool, and I was probably like, I don't know, 10, 11. And I willed the nipple into existence. I said, I'm just going to stare until this nipple shows itself to me. And then it happened.
What do you mean? But it flopped out, or she got it out?
I think she went like that.
And you got it.
And I was like, oh, fuck.
And you think having had a pocket pussy would make you less sexually?
So I went home and I had a notebook, and I decided I was going to write every sexual experience I've ever had in this notebook. And I was like, tonight I saw my first nipple.
Is this a lie? Is this?
Swear to God.
I don't know.
I had about 3 entries.
Go on. Real
That's the end.
off the other 2.
That's the end.
Nipple. Sex. Do you ever wank over a catalog back in the day?
Oh yeah, my mom used to get me. I hope my mom doesn't listen to this, because my mom tries to listen to the podcast to see if I talk shit about her.
My parents watch every episode.
If you're listening to this one, Mom, just stop. I'm not going to say anything bad about you, but I am going to talk about how you used to have this. My mom had this. There was this beauty magazine, Allure. Is that still a thing?
Magazines aren't a thing anymore.
I don't know why I just asked that. That's fucking crazy. Anyway, those things would come in the mail, and I would intercept those.
Yeah. Straight.
Like, oh my God.
It's crazy. It was
female body.
It was enough. It was enough.
Oh, dude, JC Penney catalog was enough.
Yeah.
Or like any like sick like rated R movie, like Double Impact.
Oh, I do wonder though. Even Total Recall, bro.
Yeah, 3 tits.
The 3 tits.
In my brain as a child, I was like, that's better than 2.
It's 33% more.
It's crazy.
It's fucking sick. Is it? No, it's 50% more. Fuck. Good math. Okay, so that is an issue. Let's make it serious for a second.
Okay.
We don't have the answers, so I know this right now. So
we'll figure this out.
What you do on a podcast is you talk about a serious issue with no possible way of having the answer, and then present it as fact. So, like your pocket pussy situation, the kids today, they can go on the net and type in whatever they want to see to jerk off, and then just see it.
Yeah, it's fucked up, because
what does that do?
When I was a kid, if you were to tell me, would you rather have a bar of gold or a porno magazine? Every time, instantly.
Yeah.
Because that was worth so much more. What was I going to do with gold?
Yeah, or go and pawn it somewhere.
Yeah.
To buy the porn
Exactly.
For the porn.
Like, I remember walking through the woods with my friends, just in hope that you find some torn up pages. It was great.
And now they can go, big booby goth.
Yeah.
Mistress pissing.
Yeah, I didn't even know what any of those things were.
Boom, yeah. Straight like that. What does that do to their
Sad.
brain? And you want to fund these kids with pocket pussies?
Yeah, that's the campaign I'm running on,
New Stig album.
Teach them some durability.
Yeah, but let's get off that. Anyway.
Yeah, let's go somewhere else.
Let's go. You want to talk about music?
Sure. Do you like music?
No.
Hey, let's be real. Do you listen to like new music at all?
I'm the worst fucking person at doing it. Like for what I do, I'm so like I just told you I just heard Paleface the other day. Like I don't do it. I don't listen to new music unless 3 like trusted advisors go.
You have to
present.
Do you listen to new music that's outside of heavy genre? I find myself listening to other stuff, but it's so hard for me to like turn on a new hardcore band.
Yes, that's exactly. I will listen to new hip hop and electronic music and stuff like that. But do you think it's because we've been in the scene for so long, or do you think Madison's nodding her head? Agreeing?
Yeah, it's got to be that, right? I think it's also got to be like, what
haven't you heard?
I already heard. Like I hear some new band and it's like, oh my God, have you heard this band? They sound like so-and-so. And I go, no, I listen to so-and-so.
So-and-so, yeah.
This band sounds like Poison the Well. Okay, I listen to Poison the Well.
They're still there and it's still great.
Yeah.
But I recently had like a mental turn moment about this, because I used to like get annoyed when bands sounded like other bands. And then I realized I was just getting old, and it was like, okay, well, the bands that I grew up being friends with are now like the Metallicas to these kids. And when Metallica came out, every band sounded like Metallica and whatever. So I think a particular example was like, every metalcore band sounds like Architects now. And for so many years, I was just like, that band just rips off Architects, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, like, oh, Architects are just, like, iconic now.
Influential band.
And that's what's done that. And sometimes there is a twist on it.
Sure.
But I don't know about you, I hardly ever get to giving it a chance when I put it on and it's like, Madison knows what it's like. When we'll listen to a new song will come on and I'll be like, that's the riff from this band on this album. Like, I'm terrible at that. But that's just exactly the same chord progression as this song from 15 years ago. Like, I hate myself for it.
Yeah.
What was the last heavy band that you listened to that you liked? Put you on the spot there.
I think that what happens with me is going on tour with bands and watching the band multiple nights.
Yeah.
We just were on tour with that band, No Cure.
Yeah.
And I'd listened to them a little bit before, but then I found myself after the tour, like going to the gym or something and like actively putting on their records because I listened to it for 30 nights in a row. And I finally was like, oh yeah, this part is super sick, or this is the song that has this part, or whatever it is. I think with heavy music, it's just hard sometimes to differentiate like what's going on.
Because there's a lot.
You know what I
and it's
mean?
all good.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is gonna, a lot of it's good.
Right.
I think with No Cure, I think I listened to them after one of them got stabbed.
Yeah.
That happened. And I was like, oh, I'll check this band out. I was like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I need someone to get stabbed.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to the band.
Yeah, I need Catastrophe.
I did. Is he fine?
Yeah, he's got a gnarly scar.
Really? So it is actually quite bad.
Yeah, it's like a scar like this big. It's crazy.
That's so sick, though. Like that he's okay and the music is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of PTSD from it.
Oh, I take it back. It's not sick.
Yeah.
I take it back. Come on the podcast and tell me all about it, though.
Yeah.
Please. I think mine's Paleface Swiss. That was the last band that I heard that was really good. And they're not even that new. Google.
No, they're like 4 years old.
Paleface Swiss debut album, please. Madison's first bit of work.
I think they're like 5 years old.
They're 5 years old. They're ready to get a flashlight then.
Yeah, they're ready.
Is that the age that you were
Yeah, 5 years old is when you get a flashlight.
2020?
2020, yeah. 5
years.
You were right. Yeah, that's pretty
I know all dates. You can ask me about any band and a date and I can tell it to you. Kind of like Rain Man. With
I was just going to say, have you got autism?
Yeah, no.
I had a kid, listeners that listen to every episode of the podcast. I didn't have a kid, but I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to go somewhere with this. I used to teach this autistic kid drums, like non-verbal autistic. No, not on the spectrum, like closer to non-verbal. Like he could go non-verbal if X, Y, and Z happened. He was like 8. So like he's had a flashlight for 3 years.
Yeah.
But he would like had this crazy thing with dates like Rain Man. It was fucking like the most fun ever. You could say like, what was my birthday? What day was my birthday in 1951? Right. And he
like Thursday,
March 19th. And he would literally, I'm talking seconds. He would just go, it's a Thursday, and I'd check on my phone. It would take me longer to check on my phone, and he goes, it's a Thursday. And I'd be like, Tommy, how do you do that? And he was just like, I don't know. I just sort of see it in my head. And it was amazing. It was so sick.
That's scary.
It was sick. I like, he.
If you had a child, can you imagine if you had an 8-year-old child? And he's like, I don't know. I just see it in my head.
He didn't say it like that.
Any question you ask me, I can see the answer in my head.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be like a little like, okay, let's lock the doors, honey.
If he was diagnosed with something, then I'd be like, yeah, that's just his thing. Maybe if he was just completely neurotypical and then he started reeling off stuff like that, I'd be like, okay, yeah, there's a problem there.
Papa,
where's the fleshlight? Where's the? You've had the fleshlight every Thursday since 1973.
It's in the bottom sock drawer, Papa.
Papa is really creepy. I was trying to remember this earlier. What was the horror movie that Fern was in? Your wife is an actress. Wife? You married?
Yeah. I suckered her ass, made her legally bound.
Nice. How long's that been?
I don't know.
Like 40.
I think it was a Thursday. It was a Thursday. It's been like 10 years.
And she is an accomplished actress.
Yeah, I tell her she's the stick to your guns of acting. She does.
What, she just does movies in Germany.
She never knows if that's an insult or a. She's like, wait a minute.
You missed my insult.
I heard it. I just refuse to acknowledge it.
Only makes movies in Germany. But they are so big in Germany.
But trust me, there are some hits over there in Europe.
The audience is rude as fuck. But
Oh, God. The audience absolutely hates her, but man, they like watching her movies. No, yeah, she's a great actor.
Wait, am I saying actress? Is that sexist now?
No, I don't think it matters.
You were real hard on actor there.
Actor.
Yeah.
That's because I know things about her that you don't.
Oh, that's why it lasted so long.
Yeah, that's why it's been like 10 years. Yeah, no, she does a good amount of work, and she gets to work on some really cool shit. And yeah, she's been consistently working for about 20 years. So that when I fuck with her and say like, oh, you're like the stick to your guns of acting, I mean like sometimes she does really big stuff, sometimes she does really small stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really awesome, sometimes it's okay. You know, you just don't, the projects that you're part of or whatever. It's similar
The
to
festivals.
Yeah, because obviously, like you're well versed with the history of Stick to Your Guns. It's a band that's like, oh, it's doing good, and it's not doing so good. It's doing great, it's doing okay. Oh, I think they're kind of on an up and up. We'll see what happens. Maybe they're canceled. Who knows? Are they breaking up? Possibly. Oh my God,
Russia.
they're back. Yeah, Ukraine. What? And then it's just like, oh, they put on a new record. Oh wait, it's great. And so it's just kind of all over the place.
It is great, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wait, I'm still on phone though.
Thanks.
Do you remember what the horror movie? I remember when you first introduced me to her, I recognized her from the movie where she gets like possessed.
The Devil Inside.
The Devil Inside. That movie fucking rocked.
Yeah.
And I remember like you introduced me to her and I was like, sure, that's that girl from that movie. That was like crazy.
There she is.
You should be on TV and shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to go to an award thing?
She was in a Marvel show called Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, that's what it was. We were talking about, we got a Marvel nerd over here. Look at that. She's going to cry.
Oscar Isaacs too.
Yeah.
She's with Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah, she was his mom. I wish the camera was on her.
Oh, we have a camera.
Oh my God.
That's on there. Look at that. Sure.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I kissed that lady on the lips.
That's sick. With my flashlight on.
But what I was going to say is I went to the premiere of that with her, and that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What'd you wear? I fantasize about this, by the way, being able to go to a premiere and wearing something ridiculous.
I don't know. I can't remember. I wore
A fucking
a
t-shirt.
shirt. I wore a I can't remember if it was that one or a different one that I wore a silk button up from a Pilot gas station that had purple dragons on it.
Nice.
But I look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
They're like, who's that guy?
See,
Get him out of here.
I want to wear. Have you watched the show Dave?
Yes.
Right. Okay. You know when he goes to the Met Gala, he wears that thing that blows up.
Yes.
Like I fantasize about doing something like that. If I ever get to go to like a crazy award ceremony, like I'm gonna ruin.
Yeah, that would be
the night.
insane if I did that because I'm her date. I have nothing to do. I shouldn't be there in the first place.
Divorced immediately.
I show up and it's like, who's that fucking
You
asshole?
pull the thing and it blows up like his thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. You want to talk about music? We still haven't talked about music. We'll be on 45 minutes, no music.
Do you talk about music on this podcast?
I hate it because you're just funny and I'm having fun. But and I'm fucking lit off this.
I'm so hydrated.
It's good though, isn't it?
Honestly, I'm not kidding you. I love the Monster canned water. I'm not fucking around.
It's awesome.
I'm not fucking around. I never fucked with energy drinks. And then on Warped Tour 2007, someone had left a case of Monster Chaos, which was like the juice one.
Oh, I know the one, yeah.
Next to my amp, and I was like, oh, I'll just carry it to the bus. And I was walking to the bus, and I was super thirsty. I was like, oh, I just need something to drink. And I drank it. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Right. And then the next thing I know, I had 8 of them. And then I was like,
Classic straight edge guy.
yeah.
It's not a drug. Give me 8.
I'll have 10. But I do like the, I'm not too much into Chaos anymore, but I do like the black and yellow can Rehab.
Next time I'll get some for you.
That's mine.
Next time. I've got a nodded head over there. This is my shit.
Sugar-free.
The sugar-free Zero Ultra and then the gold one.
We've had another cut.
We've had another cut. You couldn't do this live, so maybe we would have been cancelled.
Yeah, we would have been really fucked.
Back on the live thing. We will talk about, if you're watching this, what I was going to say to you there is that people leave comments like, you didn't talk about the new album. And ultimately I don't care, but I do want people to continue watching the thing. So we'll do a little bit about your new album right now.
Okay, let's do it.
Specifically, you told me you were splitting up, and then an album comes out.
Okay, that's what I thought was going to happen. That's what we all thought was going to happen.
Every member told me individually, "Nah, yeah, we're done. We're done."
The band was just like self imploding, and everybody was just not having fun anymore. And so we said, you know what, fuck it. Let's. This was like, I don't know, end of 2022 or something, and we're like, you know what. Next year, let's do some Diamond anniversary tours because that'll be cool and that'll be fun and that can just eat up most of the year. We did it around the entire world, Craig. Okay, it was very successful.
Bro, when was the last time you saw Stray play in the States? I'm on your side.
You guys,
ours is UK.
I was told, I believe you guys got the offer for this Paleface tour before we did.
This doesn't hit me. I'm already annoyed that we don't go on tour enough. Like. Anyway, so I think we were just like, you know what? Let's plan like doing like Diamond anniversary tours, and then let's wrap this fucker up. Let's just do like, you know, a final world tour or some end shows or whatever. And so that was the plan. And I think that what that did was it like mentally killed the business mindset of the band in a good way, because I mean, you know what it's like to be in a full-time band. Like so many decisions start becoming solely based around business. It sucks.
You know what I mean? And you suck like a lot of the artistic life out of shit. And I think what happened was once we kind of like killed that business part of it, it like freed everybody. And then whenever we did all the Diamond stuff, you know, and we also like Adam joined the band, and so there's someone new, and you know that's always exciting as well. But all of a sudden we were just like, whoa, wait, we're having like so much fun. And like no show was bad to us. Every show was just fun. And every time we were on tour, we were just having a great time. And then I think after a tour, I had a couple of riffs, Chris had a couple of riffs, and I was like, hey, why don't we write 2 songs, and we'll put 2 songs out around like the Diamond anniversary tour. And we wrote the 2 songs, and then we're like, these are actually pretty sick. And then Chris and I just like had 3 writing sessions, and all of a sudden we had written an entire record.
What was the 2 songs? You remember? Did they make it?
Yeah, it was Invisible Rain and Permanent Dark. And so we, all of a sudden, you know, we had like 15, 16 songs, and then I was like, well, should we just kind of do a record? You know? And at this point, it was just one of those things where everyone was just so pumped on it. And I think because Invisible Rain and Permanent Dark came out so like easy, it really did, as lame as it sounds, it really did feel like all of a sudden you're 15 years old again, and you're in like your first band. And you're just like, yo, check out this riff the devil gave me. And
then everyone's like, yes.
Yeah, that fucking rocks. Instead of being like, well, I don't know, will the crowd really connect to that? You know, like, well, when we tried it in this song, it didn't really, you know, it was just strictly like, yo, this fucking rocks. Yeah. And then someone's like, yeah, it's fucking sick. What if I do this? Oh! And
wait, so no headbutting?
No, there was no headbutting.
Not even Jesse?
It was crazy. No, Jesse was fucking awesome. I mean, everybody was.
I love Jesse to death, but I'm just thinking in my head, singers.
And this was also, and even this time, and you know, Jesse will tell us to you himself. I think this time was like also the most open everybody was to just taking in ideas, because you know when Jesse recorded his vocals, I'm sitting there, Adam's sitting there, Bo, the producer, dude from Seosen, sitting there, and like Jesse would be like, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what do you guys think? What do you think I should change? Oh, hey, try this, try that, try this. Okay, cool. Blah, blah, blah. Like just totally like open towards everything. So it was awesome. It makes me feel like, well, we can't do that again. Like I feel
now you've got
now I'm like, okay, now we have to break up. Yeah, you know, like this is gotta be the last one. But
you're getting difficult second album again, but like a billion albums in.
Yeah, 10th album or some shit. Yeah. But yeah, so the record just came out so easily, and then I think that even the artwork, I think for us, for 60 Year Guns, this is the first time in our band history where we feel like everything just worked. like the rollout of the record worked, the videos came out the way that we wanted them to come out, the mix, the master, the sequence, the artwork, it all just, it's exactly how we wanted it. And, you know, after the record came out and it got a great reaction from our fans. And we went and did our headlining tour in Europe for the record. And now we're on this. It's like one of those things where we keep saying like, well, if we go on from this tour and the band ends, like it ended great.
That's got to be freeing in itself.
It is. It's just so freeing.
Yeah.
It's just super freeing.
Because you've almost come to terms with the grief of the band splitting up, and then you get this like bonus, like nothing matters, this is fun, and then usually that's the best position to create from. Because
absolutely. And everyone's still operating out of that space. It hasn't turned into that thing where it's like, okay, what would be the wisest business move?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, who can we get to do a collab with? It's just like, cool. Yeah. If something happens, it happens. Great. We're just you know what we are? We're just a fucking band. Because I think that nowadays, like, it's hard to find a band. Every band is a brand now.
Or a guy.
Yes. It's either a guy or a brand. And it's like, corporate rock mentality has infiltrated hardcore and metalcore so much that like it feels nice to like not be actively participating in that as much as we're told we should have to.
Yeah. And
so I think that we're just finding our little way to be a band. And it's like, hey guys, that's what we are.
Do you think it helps? Because I think it helps with Stray. It helps that some people just don't fuck with us.
Totally.
Like, I kind of like that when, like, moving forward or creating or whatever, because then you can just be like, well, you don't have to cater. Like, because some of these bands that are really, really neutral politically and even musically, they probably, their business, think about our business conversations are, theirs are fucking Switzerland. They're like, well, how do we appeal to everyone?
Yeah. How do I get the IDF soldier and also get the Palestinian?
And get them both to just be blasting that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like with our bands, it's like, well, I know these people aren't fucking with us. So I don't even have to think about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just nice to be able to just be free from the idea that you don't have to be like a slave to anybody, you know? And I think that like right now it's just so hard, in day-to-day life, especially if you aren't someone who works a 9 to 5, you know, where it's just like,
I woke up at 1 o'clock today.
That's psychotic. But you were also in a bathtub at 3 a.m. watching people go, don't go to sleep, go to sleep.
True.
But you know, it's just like nowadays there's like so much pressure for, I don't know, for you to be like, got to be a guy.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean, I'm kind of a guy.
You are a guy. You're totally a guy, but I don't think that came out of pressure. I think that came because you're just like, you know, a funny guy that had stuff to say.
Thanks, bro.
And, you know,
I'm fucking bored.
And talked so much insane shit on the internet and then dressed up as some Antifa chick or something.
Remember that?
You know? Yeah. That's
shit.
the villain story, the villain origin story.
Sometimes I like to I bring that back up on my Twitter sometimes just to clear out any like transphobes or any of that shit. I'll just be like, hey guys, this is me. And then all like new fans are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think that you're a guy, but you're a guy that came out of it being genuine. You're just being yourself. You weren't someone that's
just
like,
a psycho. Same as you.
I'm going to be a podcaster. I'm going to be hardcore Joe Rogan. I'm going to be metalcore Joe Rogan.
I often do think if I did say have more people on that sucked, the podcast would be so much bigger.
It was sucked like in what way?
As in, like, had really shitty opinions because like the comments
more controversial shit.
The comments get lit up, and then that's how you get engaged.
I can say some stuff.
No, but like you would be saying it satirically, but like ultimately, and I've had opportunities to have people on where it's like, well, I know a lot of people don't agree with this person or whatever. And two things: one, I can't remain Swiss neutral for 2 hours with someone that I really disagree with, and then like. Two, there's so many people that listen to the podcast, like tens of thousands of people. Like, I don't know why like you're Joe Rogan or people like that don't feel a little bit responsible when they have like certain people on. Like, I don't personally want that. I don't want to be like, well, I don't agree with this person's platform. Sorry, I don't agree with their views. Let me have them on to debate them, because it doesn't even fucking matter. If I debate them, tens of thousands of people might actually agree with them, and then I've done the opposite of what I want.
And then also, how often nowadays does anyone like actually debate, and then someone from an opposing viewpoint goes, you know what? Now that I thought about it, I'm going to change my opinion on this.
Never.
Everyone seemingly is like, no. This is how I am. This is how I always been. This is where it's gonna always be. I'm not gonna listen to fucking shit. Whatever fucking you say, whatever you say is fucking bullshit.
That is it, though. Is that a new thing? Has that always been around? I can't remember.
I like to think that.
I
like to think that there are people that still want to change their opinion. But whatever. I don't know.
Hey, we did a good bit on music and a little bit of politics.
Yeah.
Now we can go back to talking shit.
Check.
Done. Album's good. Check it out. All that shit. They already know what it is. What the fuck? What happened to your neck?
Oh, brother.
Like, I don't think I ever got the full story. I got it in text from you, but like not in person.
Yeah, it's really strange. I went to sleep one night and I got out of the shower, I got in bed, and I noticed that the back of my left leg was numb.
Let's preface this. Sorry. Josh was playing in a neck brace for how long?
8 weeks.
8 weeks in a neck brace. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
This was May of 2022. I go to bed. I feel like numbness in the back of my leg. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Whatever. And I go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and I feel like numbness is like around the front of my leg. And I told my wife, I'm like, my leg feels kind of numb. This is weird. And so, I do what any natural red-blooded American does, and I go to Google and go, why is my leg not so numbing? And so I look it up, and it's...
Was that racist, Madison?
Didn't sound racist.
No, I'm American.
Sounded Asian.
That's Asian? No.
Sounded Asian as fuck.
Let me redo it. Why is my leg so numbing?
It's far more American.
That's better.
Carry on.
Clear that up. I'm not Asian.
I know.
Just so everyone knows.
I know. I can't wait for you to listen to how much that sounded like a Chinese man. But we didn't get a reaction from Madison, so we're
good. So, I'm like, oh, it must be like my sciatica nerve or something. And so I go to this chiropractor that I'd gone to for years. And I tell her, she's like, yeah, it's probably your sciatica nerve. And then she adjusts me, and then she's like, oh, adjust your neck too. Adjust my neck. It's all good.
Was it all good?
I thought it was. Fernanda was working in New York City. And one of the greatest things about her job is that I'm always able to sucker my way.
Mixed DJ sets wherever she is.
She somehow always gets it worked out where I get like a couple of first class tickets to visit her.
Sick.
So I'm like, yeah, baby. So I go there and, she's in some hotel or whatever. And
first class LA to New York. That's a decent flight to get first class.
Bomb.
Yeah.
And so as I'm flying there, I'm like, man, it really feels like it's like more numb. Like this is weird. I land, I go and I'm getting my back tattooed outside of the city in New Jersey. And I hear the machine running. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, what do you mean? I'm tattooing your back. And I'm like, I should be able to feel that.
Oh, no.
And he was tattooing the lower left side of my back, which I'm sure is an extremely painful part.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
And I was like,
right on the kidneys.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. And this is concerning. Essentially, I go back to the hotel room and I realize that like the numbness is now like raised to like here.
Shit.
And I'm like, this is fucking weird. Like I can't feel my fucking left side of my asshole, my left nut, like everything is just like completely numb. But instead of going to the doctor or anything, I was like, hey, I found this spot that looks like it has really good pancakes called Clinton Street Baking Company. Let's go get pancakes. So we did, and they were phenomenal.
And you could only eat the left side.
They were phenomenal. I ate both sides of those pancakes. And then so the next day I fly to Florida. We're about to start a tour. And my brother and I are working out, and I'm telling him about it. And I'm like, yeah, it's really weird. It's like numb, like all the way to here. And then I touch here and I realize this is also numb.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and now it's like up to my like left pec.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to go to the hospital because next is my heart. This is my face. This is my hand. And so I go to a walk-in clinic. They're like, you have to go to the emergency room. I go to the emergency room. This is like the day before my birthday. I get admitted. I'm in there for, I don't know, a couple days. And then they're like, you have to have emergency fusion service or surgery. And they're like, you're on the brink of being paralyzed. And I was like, well, this doesn't sound good, but I don't feel good about having emergency fusion surgery. Also, I got to play Welcome to Rockville tomorrow, brother.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it was right after that, we had to fly to South America. And then we were flying to Europe for 8 weeks. And this is 2022. So it's like the first like real tour back since COVID. And so I get in this argument with the surgeon, and then they finally will release me if I'm in a neck brace. But they're like, hey, like the guy's like, I'm not fucking with you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're like on the brink of being paralyzed. Like you have crushed disc in your neck. And so I go on the tour and I wear the neck brace, and people thought that it was a bit. Like a new, like he came back from COVID. He's got this new crazy stage.
Like a Wes Borland thing.
Yeah, and it's like a neck brace. I'm like, what?
The least cool fucking thing you could do.
Like I'm the fucking grandma from Ernest. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and so I do this tour. I do like 8 weeks of a tour and a fucking neck brace. And then I get back to Los Angeles and I go to like every specialist, Eastern medicine, Western medicine.
Did it stop getting worse though?
Yep. It never got any worse. It just stopped right here.
Because of the neck brace, do you think?
I don't think the neck brace did it.
But it looked cool as fuck.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
I mean,
you know, it looks cool in neck braces.
The town was talking about it.
Yeah, they were like, this guy's got to fucking give it up.
Isn't it weird how a neck brace is like the most emasculating thing you could wear?
It was, I've never felt.
I feel like they're only in like cartoons when like Bugs Bunny falls off a bridge and then he's like.
Yeah, or it's like a bad guy trying to like trick somebody.
Yeah,
you know, like it's not a cool feeling at all. Like, I'm not worried. I see my neck brace, and it smelled like shit. I never washed it.
Oh,
I'm just covered in sweat. Grim. So when I get home, I go to all these specialists, Eastern, Western medicine, and everyone agrees. They're like, the only way you're fixing this is through surgery. No one can figure out what's causing the numbness.
Yeah.
No one. I mean, I did like extensive blood tests. I did every type of therapy that there is. I did every like scan, all that type of shit. And but at the end of the day, it was I had artificial disc replacement. So they like cut me here and they just pulled out the 2 crushed discs and put in 2 titanium ones.
Titanium, boy. Yeah, that's so hard.
Unbreakable now.
That's so sick. Imagine you just fucking broke now.
Dude. Oh, fuck. They were right.
You're already in a chair. We can just wheel you to the show.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to play the show sitting in a chair.
Just pretend it's come back.
Yeah, I remember the night before. I'd never had surgery before. And the night before, I did this thing that's really stupid where I look up like the odds of dying from anesthesia.
I would do the same thing.
I was like,
you're an idiot.
I was like, uh-oh. And so I go to a friend and I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, if anything was ever happened to me, would you know to like pay the insurance and, the title of the house and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I don't. I was like,
I'm just a girl.
And I go, yeah, you'll figure it out. And I was like, I don't have time to tell you this. And then so the next day I was like, you will not go in the room with me. You will drop me off and you will come back tomorrow and I will see you then. Yeah. And so she drops me off and I'm sitting in the like room, like the prep room. And my surgery keeps getting pushed back because I keep hearing that the guy in front of me had complications. And I'm like, he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting there going, yeah, all right, well, this is it. I go, this is how I would die. It's so fucking stupid. I was like, I had to wear this neck brace and look like a dumbass for so long.
That's my legacy.
And this is it. I'm going to be a fucking meme 100% with this fucking neck brace on. And so I remember like the anesthesiologist comes in, he gives me like the first part of the cocktail and I'm starting to like fade off and I'm like, oh, this is going to rock. I'm going to fall asleep before the surgery. And then he's like, okay, you ready? And he comes back in and he takes me to the operating room.
Awake.
I'm in the operating room and then they give me the rest of the stuff. And then I remember being like, I'm so fucked. And then the next thing I remember, I woke up and I was like, and I was like so shocked that I was alive that the first I like looked over and I saw Fern sitting there and I just go, take a pic. Because I couldn't believe I was alive. Yeah. It's like, take a picture. So now to this day, she'll be like, take a pic. And so.
Wait, do you have the pic?
Yeah, she's got the pic.
Can you send me that pic and a pic of the neck brace, please?
I'll send you both. But yeah, and then the recovery was trash. It sucked.
Like what?
Just like I remember whenever they finally kicked me out of the hospital when the drive home was like 30 minutes and I didn't know if I was going to make it. Like any little bump, I was like, ah! And then like, I didn't, it makes sense, but I didn't expect, like, I could barely walk.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you had 2 new discs.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. And but it took like, I don't know. It took like a few. I was on tour. They told me that I could fly at the 3-week mark, and I had a tour 3 weeks and 1 day after. And I remember,
oh, perfect.
And I remember like the first night I get out of my bunk and I hit my head on the like the roof of the bus. You know how it like where the little emergency window thing is. And I hit my head and I go, and I just went in the bathroom. I just started punching the fuck out of like the bathroom walls because I was I just lost it because I was like, I'm never gonna be normal again.
Oh, that sucks. You're laughing about this, but that's horrible.
But it's still, I'm still numb.
What?
Yeah, still fucking numb.
No way. It didn't fix anything.
No, it didn't fix shit. The only thing
is numb still.
Yeah, all here down, the whole left side. Stick a fork in me, I'm done.
What do you do?
Nothing.
How much you pay for that fucking surgery?
I don't even know.
You don't know?
Nah, I luckily did have insurance at the time, which was great. And then a lot of the bills I just
did
that.
Yeah,
I did that with.
I need to get insurance. I don't have anything like that.
God.
Yeah.
Insurance is a nightmare.
That's the one thing that kind of sucks about this country. Anyway, I'm glad you're better, but it doesn't sound like you are better.
I'm totally used to it now. The fact that I know that I'm not on the verge of being paralyzed is completely like great with me.
Oh, so they've confirmed. Yeah, it's not that it didn't work.
No. I think what it is severe nerve damage somehow.
Right.
Yeah. So it's fine. But what it's weird is like I can put my left foot into like a water. Yeah. And I can't tell you if it's scalding hot or freezing cold until my right foot goes in. So it is a little bit concerning sometimes because like if I go to the gym and like stretch, right,
you don't know.
Like I can feel how tight my right hamstring is. My left hamstring,
it's
the loosest thing in the world as far as I'm concerned.
It's a superpower, bro.
Yeah,
it's a fucking superpower.
It fucking snaps whenever I try.
Does it affect like deadlifting or anything?
No, I mean bilateral stuff feels weird.
Yeah,
but nah.
They say it's got any chance of coming back.
No, no one can figure it out.
Because like this is funny. I think I told you when this happened. I had fucking tennis elbow for the longest time, or golfer's elbow, whichever one you can get from drumming or whatever.
Yeah.
The inside one. And it ended up, it was like I had a knot in my tricep and it was like referring the pain there. So I like worked out this knot in my tricep and the pain went away. And then I got like addicted to the lacrosse ball for like...
Oh yeah, just digging in there.
And I found what I thought was a knot. And I like just digging in on this fucking like lacrosse ball into a wall, like going nuts. Why isn't this not fucking whatever? And I pulled away from the wall and my arm just went like that. And it was like that for a fucking week. And it was Christmas. It's like Christmas 2018. And I'd crushed my radial nerve. I went to the fucking doctor and they were like, yeah, you've got nerve damage. You crushed your radial nerve. And they were the same thing. They were like, we don't know.
Did you jam a lacrosse ball in this for 17 hours?
They were like, we don't know if that's going to come back. So I like freaked out. But over the next, I think it was like 2 weeks, it like slowly came back.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
But if yours isn't coming back, then it's vitamin P5P, B6.
Okay.
Good for nerve damage.
Is that in this?
Of course it's fucking in that. It's not in that one. That's the bedtime one. Of course it's in that one.
Okay.
It is. It is genuinely good for neuropathy. Is that what they call it? Neuropathy? I don't know. I pronounce shit so much more wrong when I'm in the States now because I'm trying to pronounce it like you guys. Like, I'll make up a new pronunciation
but I think it sounds smarter every time.
What?
Any word you say.
Really?
Distinguished.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yogurt?
Yeah.
Yogurt's not distinguished.
Yogurt.
Yeah. So you are back in the gym now?
Yeah. I it took a while, I think like 6 months after the surgery, I thought that I'd be good to go back, but I wasn't. And
6 months.
Yeah. It's just like I got in there and just everything felt so bad and weak. And also I did this really cool thing after the surgery, which was called Get Fat as Fuck. And so it's just like
that was a plan.
Just eating my feelings.
I remember you texting me when this was happening. And I'm like, another day not at the gym.
Yep, I'm toast. And but yeah, I would say sometime last summer is probably whenever I finally got like fully back into going to the gym.
And you're deadlifting again. You're not scared?
No, back squatting was odd in the beginning because I was like, well, do I want to put a bar with 400 pounds on my?
So I've stopped back squatting after I broke my back because it felt so weird afterwards, and I was like, I'm just not doing that again. I just haven't done it since.
Now it feels normal.
Mine is like exactly where the bar goes was where I did it.
Yeah,
and it just felt so wrong that I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, that's how it felt for me as well. I got a I got like a pad for the barbell for a while because I was like,
oh my god, yeah, that's like worse than the neck brace on stage.
Yeah, it was pretty.
If anyone doesn't know, there's a pad that ladies use and effeminate men. Don't get me on that, guys. And they put it because the barbell hurts their back. Yeah,
I did that for a minute, and now I'm back just raw dogging.
Are you just trying to like just make yourself look as useless as possible?
Yeah,
let me wear the neck brace.
That's my plan.
Give me the pad. Give me my pad. I'm sorry. I'm really mean it.
There's some dude watching this that's like, fuck, I use the pad.
Yeah, so many people here use the pad.
No one ever told me.
Just grow up.
Yeah, you probably also wear gloves when you deadlift.
Oh, that sucks. What are you deadlifting now then? Just for me. No one cares except me.
I think the heaviest I've pulled is like 480.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it sucks.
You always had a mad big deadlift.
It sucks because like before the surgery, I could typically like... I felt good about just like walking in cold and pulling 500.
I've seen you pull 500 on tour a couple of times.
So now it's like a little bit like frustrating that I can't do that, you know. So, but I'm just working my way.
Crazy.
And I'm like 40, you know. So now
like 40.
I'm like 40. So now it's taking a minute for all the strength to come back.
I've been doing bodybuilding for like 2 years now.
I can tell the shoulder's looking good.
Thanks, mate. But I'm missing. But like I'm not ever going to do a cut. So like I'm doing these bodybuilding workouts that are destroying me and like I look pretty good, but I'm never going to do a cut. So I'm like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like I do want to go back to like big lifting. Like I haven't benched in 2 years. I haven't back squatted in 2 years.
Damn.
I deadlifted for the first time last week in 2 years.
I started CrossFit again last summer and like actually go, cause I have like a really nice home gym, the Beef Barn. And I can do strength stuff all day long by myself and I can push myself. But when it comes to any type of conditioning, I'm like such a bitch.
Oh, I haven't done
like making myself. So going back to like CrossFit gyms and just going to classes where they're like, this is the workout. Then I'm like, okay. And I just sit there and suffer through it. And I can tell, I've been starting to tell, or before this tour, I was starting to tell like an actual like physical difference and, you know, how I felt and how I looked and stuff.
Cardio is so fucking good for me for drumming. But again, I haven't done cardio this year. But before last year, I did loads. And I moved to America and I'm just eating saturated fat and corn syrup and all that stuff. No cardio. I can't do cardio unless I have a gym partner.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to do that. I could go home and eat.
Yeah, I think it's actually psychotic that people are like, yeah, you should do that by myself.
Yeah.
Go to hell.
I want to speak to people.
Go to hell.
Yeah, what are you doing? But the gym that I'm at now has this insane outdoor bit with like a sled and all that shit. So I'm like, let me just get one friend. In fact, I bumped into Sam from Neck Deep in the gym the other day and I sort of coerced him to be my gym buddy. So
he lives here?
He lives
here.
Do
you have friends here? Because
so many.
Yeah, but I mean, like, are they like actual like friends? Like, where you like hang out? Like,
yeah, Jeremy from Prada, Emma.
That's cool.
Tom doesn't hang out because he's got 2 kids.
I didn't know if Nashville's like one of those cities where like, I know Los Angeles is one of those cities where someone will move there and go, I know 1,000 people here. And then they see those people more on tour than they do. I mean, at
that
home.
Still happens anyway, but I think that's because I really like finishing my work for the day, eating dinner.
Is he telling the truth?
Yeah.
He has friends?
Yeah. Eating dinner.
I gotta check in on him.
No,
yeah.
while I'm around. It's only when I'm out of state that he sees them, but
yeah. But when she's around, like you know what it's like. Like I want to watch a movie. I want to eat food. I want to fart. I want to
fart.
Yeah, fart. I can only fart when she's around.
I hold it in all day long, and then finally I'm like, I
farted in the bathtub last night because you know. You had to bring. Yeah, but also like you know that's comedic relief. Yeah. It was.
She's scared out of her mind.
It really was. We were having a nice hug.
Calm her down.
Yeah.
Smell of eggs.
It was great. My farts don't smell.
Oh, yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's really crazy.
It's either a good or a bad thing, though. Because it either means that noxious fumes are still in me or that my gut is working. I can't even remember what I was talking about.
Doesn't matter. You were bragging about having friends.
No, you said, do you have friends
You were
here?
like, I have so many friends here.
You said, do you have friends here? You're flirting with Nashville, though, I can tell.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
There's a flirt in you.
I flirt with Austin the most.
But you text me like 3 times after I moved here, like, so how is it? And I know some of that is you checking in.
That was me just checking in.
No, but I can tell. The Terrace thing's crazy. I bought a car last week. That was a fucking absolute, took me 3 months to buy a car because I haven't got a driving license. I've got a learner's permit. I'm 38. That's the equivalent. When I get ID'd,
15 years old.
When I get ID'd for something when they need my ID, it's the equivalent of me putting a neck brace on when I give them a learner's permit for a 38-year-old man.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Because I had to resit my test too.
And you have to look at I'm still learning.
But I bought a car, and the day afterwards, those like tariffs came out, and the car manufacturer that I bought, it's like all their prices went up 15% the next day. So I was like, I could just fucking sell this. Make a sweet, sweet profit.
Yeah, and then buy nothing because of the tariff.
Yeah, exactly. The whole the playing field just moves. I want a 2 truths and a lie. Do you remember your one from the fucking thing? Because I remember it being insane, but I can't remember any of it.
All right.
And I can't remember what was true and what was a lie.
All right, 2 truths and a lie. I once did a tour where I only ate food if it was given to me. I only slept in shelter if it was offered to me. And I only bathed in natural bodies of water, which resulted in me bathing in toxic waste.
Okay, that's number 1.
That's the first one. Number 2, the first tour that I ever did actually wasn't with a band, but it was with a Christian mime troupe. That's number 2. Number 3, I once was arrested for being involved with a group of people that shit in a bunch of boxes and wrapped them up as Christmas gifts and threw them off stage at a music festival.
Oh, I can't remember which is true. I feel like more than one is true because they're all so insane. Get yourself a cold one, my friend.
I want room temp.
Really? I can't remember who it was. I did an episode with someone once and they requested room temperature water and thank you. And I like roasted them for the whole episode that they'd requested room temperature water. Like,
My voice, I want some room temperature
It was
water.
a singer as well. And then afterwards I was like, there's probably actually some meaning in that. But I was like, you fucking pussy.
You drink the cold water, goddammit.
Take out all the brown M&Ms or something, like Aussie. Like, what the fuck? Okay.
All right, those are my 2 truths and a lie.
Here's the thing. I really feel like all 3 are true. But to do things, I need to investigate.
Okay.
So I want to investigate on number 2.
Okay.
Could you please, what type of miming? You know, like a classic.
Classic. This is classic.
This is
classic miming with a little born again Christian twist on it. You know what I'm saying?
Could you look at that camera and mime for me? What do you mean no? Because that's going to give it away. Because it's going to be either
I can't do that because it'll tell you if it's the truth or if it's a lie.
It'll be such good content.
I know. That's why I went with
You can't give me one little, like I'm stuck in a glass box moment.
No, I'll do it off camera.
Why? It's the whole point of the game. Why would you bring that up?
Because then everybody's going to try to put me in a box.
Nice. That's really... Could you just mime putting on a neck brace for me? Now mime giving a 5-year-old a pocket pussy.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Where was it with the church, that one?
Yeah, my mom thought that it would be a good way to get my brother and myself more involved in the church. So she forced us to be part of the church mime team.
What were the stories told through the medium of mime?
Salvation.
How are they doing that without vocals?
Hellfire, brimstone.
How are they doing that without vocals?
You know what? my child mind couldn't.
Just thinking about that pocketbook.
Yeah, I was too focused on other things.
I could be at home right now. God bless. I could be at home. Okay, I'm gonna switch over. Now the first one, you went on a tour where you only ate food if it was given to you, only washed in a body of water.
Yeah, only ate food if it was given, only slept in shelter if it was offered, and only bathed in natural bodies of water.
So it was a tour. What were you like? What vehicle were you in?
A van.
Does that count? As
A van that had, it was, the inside was all metal and it was just Sharpie drawings everywhere. And in the middle, there's this giant thing called the coctopus that was these 8 gigantic penises.
Which band was
Casey
this?
Jones.
Yeah, of course it fucking was. So that one's true. 100% that one's true. But, okay, so what do you mean? You love sleeping in a van, though. I know this. So did that count as shelter, or you?
It was
summertime,
so it was pretty rough, and it was vinyl seating.
Okay,
so that was bad.
But like what you've just described, especially of it being Casey Jones, is just being in a tour, being on being on tour in that kind of size band. Is you sleep at someone's house if they are at the show and they said you want to sleep in my house. That bit's normal.
The bathing in the natural bodies of water was.
That's the main bit.
That was complicated, and that is how I ended up swimming in
U.S. tour.
Toxic waste. U.S. tour, yeah.
Where was the toxic waste?
Outside of Denver, I believe, somewhere in Colorado. My brother and I, it had been a few days since we showered, and we saw some water, and we're like, oh, thank God, let's go. And we jump in, and we have our soap, and we're doing everything.
Put your soap on a barrel while you're...
Yeah. And Tissue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still around?
I don't know. Tissue's the sound guy from Kansas City area. That our sound guy's dad died, so he left the tour, and we had just met Tissue, and we're like, "You want to come on the tour?" And he's like, "Okay." And he came on the tour.
We met him at the nuclear waste plant where we were bathing.
And then he was like, "Guys, did you see this sign?" And then we look at the sign, and it's like, "Caution, toxic waste dump." And then we're like, oh, okay, maybe we should get out of here.
Did you have any lasting effects?
Nah, just numbness on my left side.
Oh, if you didn't make it, I set myself up to make that. And that's why you're a perfect guest.
Thanks,
okay. Turning up at a venue and them having chips and dip count as like...
Yes.
Yeah, fuck, that one's true. You've just explained a tour where you accidentally bathed in toxic waste and you just dressed it up. That was true.
It's about intention.
Oh, no, okay, that one's true. Confirmed.
That one's true.
Okay, we've done the mime one. I'm reserving my judgment for the mime one, and then I'm coming back to shitting in presents and giving them out at a venue. Got arrested for it.
There used to be a festival called Gainesville Fest. Now there's a festival in Gainesville called The Fest, but before The Fest, there was Gainesville Fest, and that was definitely more like hardcore, emo, metalcore, like all that kind of shit. Anyway, Evergreen Terrace is playing. It would happen around Christmas time. We decided that it would be funny if one of our friends is dressed up as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And he comes on stage with a kick drum case, and inside is a bunch of presents. There's probably, 9 presents. And in 3 of the presents, there's t-shirts and CDs. And then the rest of the boxes, there was human feces. And so we start playing, it's right before some mosh call. And he's like, oh, motherfuckers, whatever. And he starts throwing everything out. And then you see people start violently like fighting over the gifts. And somebody rips open the box and they pull out, and it's like a shirt and a CD. And they're like, oh my God, which then makes everyone flip out.
Rip open boxes.
And they start ripping them open. And the next thing it is there's like shit just flying everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's when we're playing. We're like, maybe this was a little bit too much. Because it's like
who shit? You guys shit in the boxes.
A bunch of people.
Yeah.
And classic guy stuff.
That is. I mean, what year was this?
Oh, this is like
2004.
No, probably 2003 maybe.
Yeah.
2002. Some shit like that. And then
it was a different time.
It was a different time.
Jackass was out.
Yeah. And so I remember I go to the bathroom and the security guard comes in, this fucking roided out motherfucker, and he has shit all over him. And he's like, if I find out who's fucking shit, I'm gonna fucking kill him. And I'm like, and then I leave and I'm like, guys, we should maybe pack up and get out of here. And then as we're doing that, Converge is on stage, and Converge was having a problem with security. And so I think the bass player finally had enough and just chops the security in the head with his bass. And when that happened, it was like...
The guy that was covered in shit already?
No, different guy.
His friend.
Yeah, his friend. When that happened, like, full-scale riot breaks out. And then it's just everyone just started fighting.
Yeah.
And the dude, I remember one of the dudes from Until the End's walking around, and he has part of the barrier stuck in his head. He's like, ah, and just like, it was fucked.
I'm sorry. Did you mention all the bands that were playing? Can you remember the bands that were playing?
Converge either headlined or they definitely were the last band to play. I think Until the End played, On Broken Wings played, Evergreen, Terrace. That's all I remember.
So I have recon that I know that this one is true, because I mentioned that I was having you on the podcast to Jonah Weinhofen, who was in Bring Me the Horizon, and he was in I Killed the Prom Queen. I mentioned, now he works at Monster, and I had dinner with him last week, and I mentioned the first guest in the new rig is you. And he said, is he going to tell the time? I don't know if they played the fest or he was there or it was just lore at the time. He said, is he going to tell the story about when Evergreen Terrace came on stage dressed as Santa and said, who wants some shit? Which you didn't even bring up, but he remembers that.
Maybe that part happened.
That was the mosh call, who wants some shit? And then that. So I know that's true.
That's a solid mosh call. So the mime ones.
I think only because you haven't shown me your mime prowess, I'm going to have to go, that's the lie.
Now, do I tell you
yes.
What's the lie? The mime one is 100% true. The lie is that I did not get arrested at the festival.
Right.
That's the lie. So I kind of tricked you.
You got away with it.
I kind of tricked you on that.
So, no,
but the mime was 100% true.
How long did you do that for?
A couple of years. And the first tour that we did, it was just insane. Because I was also insane because...
Where are you touring? Like Germany?
The South...
Yeah. We were huge in Germany.
The Southeast. We came to Nashville, I remember. It was the first time I ever came to Nashville.
Fuck yeah. How old were you at this time?
Oh, dude, I was like prime, like molestation age.
To do or to receive?
To receive. Like fifth grade.
This is going to get dark.
We talked about this at the live podcast. And I started talking about how the older girls in the mime troupe were molesting me. And I thought it was hilarious.
I do remember that.
And no one in the crowd was like...
There was like one particular girl as well. And I'm pretty sure you named her.
No. She didn't molest me. So what we're talking about is... we did this like field trip. There's this place called Strickland's.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a lake that had high dives and water slides and all that shit. And so what we talked about at the live podcast was me and this girl, Stephanie, from the mime troupe were underneath the dock. And I remember, again, it's like fifth grade. You're like, horny brain is just being turned on.
Oh.
And I remember I was just like, could not get over the fact that she had this rack on her, and I was probably like, how old are you in fifth grade?
I don't know.
12, 11?
I don't know these things because I don't.
Not even.
10?
Hey, you got a fucking computer.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you got to be, I'm going to say 10 or 11, something like that. And she was like 14. So to me, she was just like an absolute goddess.
It's 10 or 11.
10? Okay. So yeah, I'm like 11. Going back to earlier, what we're talking about, nobody teaching you anything about sex. I go home. I got a little fucking boner.
Yeah.
I'm laying on the bed, and I start like
pushing it into the bed,
like rubbing in circles
into the bed.
And I had this,
wait, are you on? Let's set the scene here. You're on your back.
No, I'm on my stomach.
Oh yeah, pushy.
And it's just like
Madison's losing her shit.
Little rubbing in circles, right? And I had this like eggshell crate top. Felt. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so I'm
what was her name?
I'm sitting there, and I'm rubbing in circles, but I have no clue what's going on. And then all of a sudden I came, and then I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And then, your dick's hard 1 second, then it's soft. And I'm like, oh my God, I broke it. I broke it. And then so the whole next day at school, I'm just like stressed out to the max. Like, oh my God, I don't know what I did. I can't talk.
I better try it again.
I can't talk to anybody about this. Exactly. So that night, I'm like, okay, I gotta see if I can get this thing fucking going again. And I remember laying there and I didn't make the connection that it was Stephanie from Mime Troop's boobs that triggered this whole situation. Right. So like there's a grocery store, Publix, and there was this commercial that this is like one of my wife's favorite stories. There's this commercial of a Publix commercial, and it had this like hot plate of spaghetti.
Oh, the spaghetti thing is true.
So I was like rubbing in circles, like thinking about this plate of spaghetti for like so long, just like visualizing it so hard. And then the spaghetti just took its way out of my brain. And then the girl Stephanie's boobs came back in. And then I was like, oh, now I've made the mind body connection. Yeah. And then it was on. For so long.
Spaghetti story's true. Why wasn't that two truths and a lie? I jerked over a fucking plate of spaghetti. I remember my moment like that as well, though, and it's kind of a weird one because I know her husband watches the podcast now. But mine was like Cameron Diaz in The Mask. I was like watching that when I was a kid, which I guess I was like 6.
That guy can't get mad.
Yeah, of course he can't.
Can't get bummed. He knows he's doing the same thing.
Probably exactly the same thing. When Mars came out, 96 maybe, so I was probably about the same age. And then I was like, wait, she's doing that. That's doing that. That was my sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like no one ever bothered to explain it.
No one took me a pocket pussy.
But if someone would have...
Now we're back on this. Oh, that's such a good end to the podcast. Now we're back on this. How would just handing a kid a pocket pussy solve the problem we just talked about?
You got to explain it.
How would you explain it? Okay. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Okay, all right.
Pocket pussy.
Okay. But it would be like in a healthy way.
I'm your son, and you are bestowing me my gift.
Julius.
Great name. Thank you. Powerful.
Now you're growing up and you're becoming a man.
I just want to play with my Lego.
Can
this wait?
No, nothing can wait when it comes to a father-son moment like this.
Okay.
You're going to want to start exploring your body.
Great size, by the way.
And this is the average size of a vagina. Right?
Perfect. Anyway.
Just as sharp.
Dad, hurry up.
Listen, one day your penis is going to become extraordinarily hard. And you're not going to have to pee out of it. So what you're going to want to do is stick it in this right here, right? This is a vagina.
Into a can.
This is a fake vagina. Women have these between their legs. This is a fake one.
Okay.
And then you're just going to go in and out until white pee comes out.
Okay. Why can't I just go to a woman?
Because you're too young to have a woman.
Okay. So.
And once you can please this, you can please a woman.
How will I know when that's pleased?
It'll go... when you pull out.
Do they queef? Are you about to say I've never used one? Do they queef?
I don't know.
You are the fucking expert.
I don't remember.
You had the sponsorship.
I don't remember.
Do they queef?
I mean, if you blow anything out hard enough, it's going to queef.
I feel like
that's true. It's science.
I feel like that's a good end. It's a good end to the podcast.
That just cuts.